Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Okay. So now can I start the lecture?
Yes, ma'am.
Is my slides coming?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you can see, no? So, okay, today, I think now, from now, okay, in this batch, most of the lectures will be of mine, okay? There are many lectures of mine, and from today, I'll be starting with the occupational health. I think there will be 4 or 5 lectures of this occupational health. Okay, this is one of the very important, I know, but like for example, in this corona pandemic also, this occupational health is very much important. I know the employers are really focused on like protecting the employees. So we should know, we should know the importance of the occupational health. Okay, and this is also one of the very much important thing for us, for the medical field. Okay, so we all know, in this occupational field, working population constitutes the major portion of the community. There are like many people who are like working. Most of the population in the community are the working population, because and they are like determine the progress and development of the country. The working population are focused for the development of the country. And also the health status, the health status of all the workers, all of the working population is considered as a one of the sensitive indicator for the development of the country. So it is very much important for looking after the health of the health of the working population. Okay, usually we all know, usually the most of the working population, they work for 8 hours, and even more than that also they are working. So not only the workers should be healthy, but also the working environment, the person who are working, the environment should be also healthy and safe, and also free from all those harmful agents. So a worker in all occupations need a special healthcare delivery. It is very much required, so if a working environment is healthy, it is not only beneficial for the worker but also for the employer also, like they get the benefits from the employee. And this will be like a mutual benefit for both, because there will be like increase in the their production, and there increase in their efficiency, and also like there will be decrease of the accident in the working environment. So it is very much required. So like work plays a central role in people's life, and work environments should always be safe and healthy. Every day workers around the world are facing like different type of the health hazard. Like presently, in this pandemic, the health hazards like organism, we are facing with the organism. So in our like medical field, in our occupational related with our occupation, we are facing with the organism. Okay, and beside that, in the other profession, they are facing with like dust, gases, noise, vibration, okay, and extreme high temperature. You can see all that. So these are different type of the health hazards. So while working, while working, there can be accident. We've been hearing while working people are facing different type of accident, or because of the exposure of different type of chemicals, different type of the organism, people are facing the disease also, and it is like a very costly and like very life threatening also. Like people can get amputated with the limbs, isn't it? People can get cancer like this. There are different type of the serious type of the disease from the occupation. So from that, the workers are facing a direct and indirect cause. Like for example, in the direct cause, they are facing the pain, pain and suffering of the injury or illness. They are getting amputated, they are getting the severe pain from like tumor mass, you know. So also their loss of the income, they are not getting any type of income as they have to leave the job, okay. And they get like loss of the job, and they are facing the healthcare costs. We all know, you know, with the healthcare is one of the very much expensive thing. So the healthcare cost is also they are facing. That is the direct cost. And while talking about the indirect cost, definitely after losing from the job, I know the in the place where they are working, in that center, in that occupation center, the ill worker has to be replaced, you know, that employers has to hire another employee, and that new worker has to be trained, you know. Definitely while getting trained there will be like time consuming, okay. And it takes time before the new worker is producing at the rate of the original worker. Definitely the new person, the new staff will be slow in the beginning, isn't it? Like the production rate will be definitely slow, and time must be devoted to obligatory investigations, to the writing of reports and filing out of the forms. All that will be delayed, and accidents often arouse the concern of fellow workers and influence labor relations in a negative way. And poor health and safety conditions in the workplace can also result in poor public relation also, isn't it? So these are the indirect costs. So talking about the global burden of the occupational health, okay. So we all know, you know, I hope you have heard of International Labour Organization. So ILO, we also say that as a ILO. So ILO has given a like global status and a global statistic about like more than 300 million workers meet with occupational accidents each year, okay. Annually, like more than 300 million workers are facing the occupational accidents, and like more than 100 million are suffering from occupational disease, like lung disease or and also all those skin diseases, okay, and amputations, all that occupational disease they are facing. And among them, about 1.2 million workers die annually due to occupational disease and accidents, okay. And this is like ILO has not done any revision after 2001. This 2001 is supposed to be the latest data, okay, a global statistic about the occupational health. So now talking about the Nepal scenario, I hope you have heard. You know, have you heard of Shram Mantralaya like that? Have you ever heard of Shram Mantralaya? So this Shram Mantralaya, they have just done revision regarding occupational health in 2074. Okay, they have done different changes, and you should know briefly about the legislation also. So talking about the occupational safety with OSH in Nepal in its initial stage. So it started in the industrial sector. It was like initially started only for the industries only, but later on it was elaborated among all the like occupations, okay, not only industries. It was like elaborated among all the sectors, and like there is one separate government which is working under for this occupational health only, okay. So, talking about the Nepal scenario, around 11,779,000 Nepalese aged 15 years and above that are engaged in one or another type of the occupation in Nepal. Okay, and around 74% are involved in the agriculture and forestry sector, whereas 26% is in the non-agricultural sectors. So, and around each year, approximately around 20,000 workers they face the occupational accidents. Okay, and around 200 lives are lost in Nepal annually. So now talking about this, so talking about this so now talking about the occupational environment, man is involved with the environment definitely, and man is also involved with machines, and also man and man. As what I mean to say is, in the office people are working with like people are working with man to man, in the office, like also in the shops, like that they are involved with the human beings, so man and man relationship. Another is in the industries. In the industries, like people are working with machines, they are working with different types of the machines, and one is another is that environment. And the third environment is man with the different type of the environments, like physical, chemical, and biological agents. Like what I mean to say is like different type of the chemicals, or like extreme heat, extreme cold and extreme noise, like that, and also with the organisms, like that. So that is the thing. So now another thing is what I need to do. Yes, now talking about the hazards. Okay, an industrial worker is like exposed by the following five types of the hazards. Okay, like physical, and next is the chemical, biological, mechanical, and the psychological, or like social type of the hazards. And it depends upon the nature, on the nature of what type of the profession the person is doing. So now talking about the physical hazards. Okay, talking about the physical hazard, most common physical hazard that is faced is heat. Okay, most of the people are working in the extreme type of the heat. So in the heat, talking about the heat, people are facing with like burns, heat stress, okay, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, heat cramps, heat syncope. Okay, now do you know, like, what do you understand by heat syncope? Heat syncope means what? Heat syncope. Anyone? That heat syncope means like it is like I think you have you remember, like few of the students while standing on the like assembly, few students gets fainted during the summertime, isn't it? Like that. So that is the heat syncope. I'm just giving the example. Okay, it is like what happens is the pulling of the blood in the lower limbs. Okay, and then the person will get fainted. Okay, so that is the heat syncope in some of the occupation, and when they have to work in the very hot summer day, there will be the facing of the heat syncope. And usually this thing can be seen among the people who like army people, that the heat syncope is common. And another is heat cramps. Your heat cramps means like when there is like the people has to work in the very hot environment. Okay, there will be like loss of the electrolytes, like sodium chloride will be lost from the body. And because from that there will be the painful and spasmodic contraction of the muscles. I think you have faced with the heat with the like muscle cramps, that is the same thing. Okay, there will be the heat cramps. And another is like heat hyperpyrexia. There will be like failure in the like heat regulation in the body. Okay, so from that also there will be like high temperature, unnecessary fainting. Okay, convulsions can occur in the hyperpyrexia, heat hyperpyrexia. So now another is like cold. Another physical hazard is like cold. Okay, and in the cold, if like person have to work in the snow, isn't it? Like you have seen in the TV, you know, like people are like just cleaning the snow in the for the road, you know, for the vehicles to travel. They are just cleaning around the snow. So I'm giving you that example, okay? And another is people are working in the river, so they will face with the cold, okay? And there will be like chilblains, erythrocyanosis, immersion foot, okay, frostbite, like that. Do you know what do you understand by chilblains? This chilblains is like that, okay? I think some of the students are like facing the swelling of the fingers, and it gets very itchy in the winter time. Have you does anyone have faced that chilblains? The fingers will be very itchy and there will be swelling also, okay? That is what is chilblains. And another is like erythrocyanosis, okay? There will be cyanosis. And then immersion foot, okay? This picture, see here, this is the immersion foot. It looks like a socks, you know, white socks. So this is immersion foot. And frostbite, okay? There will be frostbite, and there will be necrosis of the fingers also. So that is the thing. And another is the hypothermia also, okay? Hypothermia condition is very much life threatening. And another physical hazard is the light, okay? So now talking about the light, like this effect occur either due to like inadequate light or the excessive light, okay? There will be the problem. So they will be have like, if there is like poor illumination, you know, like poor exposure, then there will be eye strains, headache, eye pain, and lacrimation, okay? And congestion and eye fatigue also. Like we have to get focused, you know, if there is less light we have to get focused, you know. And so from that only there will be all these symptoms which we will be facing. And another, for the people who work in the mines, you know, the in the mines, the people who are working in the mines, they also will have a poor illumination effects. So from that they will have a minus nystagmus. Have you ever heard of nystagmus, Tom? What does nystagmus mean? What do you understand by the term nystagmus? Prashansa? Prashansa, are you there?
Ma'am, rapid involuntary movement of eye.
Yes, and there's like involuntary movement of the eyes. So that is what is nystagmus, okay? So in minus nystagmus there will be like that. So another is like excessive exposure to like excessive brightness of the light, and so in the road also, you know, when we are just traveling on the during the night time, if there is like excessive brightness in the another vehicle, then what will happen, it will be very much discomfort for us, you know. So like that only, if the occupation is like that, and the person is facing excessive glaring throughout the working hours, then there will be very much physical hazards like discomfort, visual fatigue, okay, irritation, blurring of the vision, and this can lead to the accidents also. And so this is also one of the problem. Now another physical hazard is noise. Usually in which type of the occupation this excessive noise is present? In which type of occupation the excessive noise is present? Okay. Aru? Another? Okay. in the airports, okay, and in the traffics, like in the road also, yes, in the factories and all those coal mines and construction, all this thing, they are facing with the excessive noise, isn't it? So in that also there is like a health hazard, you all know, okay. One is definitely auditory and another is non-auditory. So in auditory there will be like permanent or temporary deafness, and there will be like tinnitus. You know what is tinnitus, you know? So another is like there can be degeneration of the cochlea also. And talking about the non-auditory, you all know that, you know, there will be like hypertension, rise in the intracranial pressure, and also there will be like